expecting Bitcoin to break 20K, maybe go to 21, 22, and then head back down to 13, 14. Let me tell you why I think that that may not actually happen. I've already explained why I think it may not actually happen, but let me go back and let's look at this from a historical perspective. There have been a few times that Bitcoin has broken prior all-time high, and in every time that we've moved up in that type of a fashion, we have seen 30 to 40% corrections. The difference is where and when do those corrections occur? Because have occurred after Bitcoin has rallied far past all-time high, in which case sub all-time high prices were never seen again until the bull cycle top. Let's take our first break of all-time high here. We see that Bitcoin broke the prior all-time high. This was back in 2011 of $30.75. It did not see a major correction, okay, until we hit $275. And from there, we did see a 80% correction, okay? But that did not take us lower than the prior all-time high. The next time that we broke the all-time high at that point was $267. We broke all-time high. We did not see a 30 to 40% correction until we hit the next all-time high at $1,221, some 4 times higher than the prior high, okay? And from there, we saw once again a much larger. Actually, that was a start. This was 2013. That was the start of our bear market. So we saw a massive correction, right? But that was after we peaked. The next time that we broke all-time high. Now, this is the one time in our history that we have seen a 30 to 40% correction soon after breaking all-time high. I will repeat, the prior 2 times, okay, besides what happened in 2017, the prior 2 times that Bitcoin broke its all-time high, it just kept on rallying. And we did not see a major correction until the next bull market peak was reached, okay? I want to emphasize that. That occurred here, that occurred here, okay? Now, this was in the same year, so maybe you can say, okay, that was only one incident. But my point is that the amount of times that we've seen, I mean, and we have very little data to work with to begin with, but there can be equal arguments made here that Bitcoin will correct soon after hitting 20K and it will not correct soon after 20K. In other words, anything can happen. We know that, but many seem to be, and again, myself included up until very recently, seem to be expecting this move down to 13 to 14K to occur sometime soon. And what I'm getting at is load up on your altcoins now, load up on your coins now, because I don't necessarily think that is going to happen. And in 2017, we broke all-time high. We saw a 30% correction from the highs. Okay, 40% correction from the highs. We broke out that all-time high again. We saw another 30% correction, and then we rallied to new all-time highs. And I think this is what most are kind of hoping is going to happen here. We're going to break 20K. We're going to hit 21, 22. We're going to come back down to 13, 14. Everyone's going to load up, and we're going to rocket to the moon. However, I simply do not think that is going to be the case anymore based on the wave count that I'm seeing. This wave count is just so extremely bullish right now because of the wave structure that I'm seeing, that I simply do not see a way in which, I mean, technically this could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we could hit this and come down. But again, it seems a lot more likely to me that we just continue up. And by the time if we do push to 30,000, for example, on this parabolic move, sure, we're going to get a 30 to 40% correction, absolutely. But you know where that's going to take us? It's just going to take us back to all-time high, all right? Which means that 13 to 14K region that everyone is eyeing up may not come to fruition. Am I saying it absolutely won't? No, I'm not. I'm saying, yeah, it could. I'm just saying don't think it's guaranteed at this stage, okay? And prior to this, I myself was very convinced that 13 to 14K is going to be revisited, all right? It just made sense to me. And based off of the developing wave count, it looks a lot less likely to me. It looks more likely that we do break up over all-time high and rally significantly. And then maybe we get a pullback. And then maybe we continue up from there. And 13 to 14K never gets met. All right. So that's my update here on Bitcoin. I've talked about the wave count. This is really the primary reason why I am believing that this is going to happen. And the key to all this, where is the invalidation? When will I be wrong? When will this not be the case? All right. If 15.8K is hit, even a wick down to this region, it means that this move up completed the structure, even though it looks very incomplete to me, and I can't see a valid count that has this move up completing the structure. If we hit 15.8K, it means that the move up was complete, all right? And that indicates that we could see 13 to 14K. That opens up the doors to 13 to 14K or even 11 to 12K. But as long as this level is held, I do not believe that that is going to happen, all right? Let's now jump into XRP. I know this is, a lot of you guys have been waiting for this. I've covered Bitcoin. I've covered my expectations.
All right, my question of today is XRP or XLM? Comment it down below, and also make sure you press the like button and subscribe, because those three things are all you need to do to enter into our 100 XRP giveaway. And funny enough, that is already turning towards $70, which is kind of getting scary. A week ago or so, it was only $25. Right now, we're giving away $70, which is a lot. I might have to tune it down to 50 XRP soon if we don't give it away. And the only requirement is that we hit 1,000 likes, so make sure you press that like button. Having said that, there's a lot I want to talk about today. XRP, XLM, Flare, the charts, some other charts, a lot of cool stuff. But I want to briefly start out with XRP here because it is quite clear what's happening in my opinion. And that is because literally all that is graphed in here shows, in my opinion, quite perfectly what's going on with XRP and what we should be expecting. Now, one of the interesting things is that we've hit the supply zone quite often now in the last, let's say, 24 hours or so. How many hours is this? Maybe like 30 hours or so. And what we're seeing right now is another touch within the zone and falling right back down from there, meaning we could have possibly taken a little bit of a trade downwards of about 5, maybe 7% or so. We're not doing that too much though. We're waiting for the bigger moves to occur, and one of the moves I notified you guys of was the one yesterday, right around 2 a.m. My friend messaged me we're going to correct down lower. We did about, how much is this? 7% or so is what we fell down. If you, I guess, take the full swing, maybe 8% is what you can take all the way to this support, at least resistance turn support right here at about 61.4. And mind you, the only thing I added now is this supply zone. I've actually not added in any of these lines. They've been here since the last time we talked about them, which was pretty damn funny to see because we now have quite a narrow range. I told you guys earlier there is a bullish pennant going on right now with, of course, if I can grab that, the flagpole being right here, and of course the convergence being shown quite drastically, if I may say so myself. And from that point on forward, I'm actually quite afraid to take the short ride from this zone, because I think there's a higher probability of actually breaching this forward all the way to the higher levels at about 84 to 89 cents. However, if we do keep on getting rejected, there's a good chance we're going to be falling back down to this 54 cent or so area, which I'm definitely going to be placing a lot of longs if we do. And if we actually go below 52 cents or so, we might get a little bit more afraid because, well, first of all, I'm going to be buying a ton more, as that is all more towards my target, but also we might be falling back down even a lot further at that point then. But we'll update when we get there, because I don't see that happening in such a small time frame. We fell down here about 40% in a day or so, or 30, 40, but that is after it already went up in the same day about, 35 to 45%. So moves like that are not uncommon, but they're most likely preceded, or before that we get another nice rush going. And even if you kind of consider it from a different end, we already went from the lowest point of today to the highest point, up right around, let's see here, 15% or so. So falling back down to this level, 12% from the high, or about, what's it now? 8 more percent or so to go, to then go back up about, what's it now, 18 or so percent, is still going to be fine, so I'm not too worried about it. For XLM, it's actually quite different because we've breached a lot of the levels we talked about before, and we've actually just skyrocketed past the 1.618 fib from the previous run. Right, so this was the run from March all the way up to August. We went back down into a small little downtrend to, I guess, resume or start a new move, depending on how you look at that. But that high, we have just skyrocketed past this week with no warning, nothing like that whatsoever. And I mean, we're pretty obviously just skyrocketing past all previously thought out levels, and I think we're getting very, very close to the resistance here at about, what's it now, 23.7. Right now we are at 22 to the dot. So yeah, I think that's the earliest point which we're going to go to. We might get rejected from there though. I mean, you could already kind of guess that this all follows the same line, as these lines are not perfect. It might have been a little bit lower here. I didn't put too much effort into draw them to the dot, as is just to give you guys some indication. But on that regard, the volume is so high, so ridiculously high on these bullish candles that I'm pretty positive things are going to be looking very, very good. Check back here. When was the volume this high? Is that ever been? Has it ever been? Is this the all-time high of volume? Let's quickly check. I believe so, though, guys. I believe this right now, these bullish candles here have the highest volume we have ever seen for XLM, and thus I'm still quite confident things are looking pretty damn pure, pretty damn positive. This right now could actually be seen as another good entry for a long all the way, maybe just somewhere around the 29-cent area or something like that, which would most likely be about a profit of 30 something percent or so. That's the one I'm going to be looking for. At minimum, I'm going to be looking for another 29 or so percent trade. As yes, we've gone up a huge amount, or we might go back first of all to the fib at 19.4, or even to the next highest point or so, which is the high of the previous run, which most likely turned to support right now at about 13 or so cents. But if we do not, that's the way we're going to be heading. And of course, since everything is looking so juicy, that is looking more likely. But it's not a guarantee, and this is not financial advice. I do recommend you guys to check out a little bit more about volume and such, and even about the bullish pennants, because it is always a 50-50 bet in the sense of the pattern may be there, and everything may look like it makes sense, but then there's always some smaller things which might hold it back, first of all, and second of all, it's never a guarantee. You should look at some other factors playing a role as well, and a good part of that is volume. And we're going to quickly read this little infographic here that Merdrex has made, which I think was pretty damn cool. Volume measures the number of shared trades during a particular time frame. Volume is a way to assess the significance of changes in a security's price. Why is volume an important metric for technical analysis? Lets the traders know the liquidity of an asset. Let the traders know how easily they can get into or out of a position close to the current price, which can be a moving target. Volume analysis shows how many times the security has been bought or sold over a given time frame, and that time frame can be 1 minute, 4 hours, 1 day, or anything that you would want. Volume is the given time frame is represented, or in the given time frame, is represented as a bar, which is color coded. Green bar means the security closed higher during the trading session, and red bar meaning security closed lower during the trading session. The height of the bar shows whether there's an increase or decrease in the volume of the security transacted. Green, trend confirmation, increase in volume with an increase in price or decrease in volume, with the price decline indicating strong buying pressure or selling pressure. And here the other one, trend non-confirmation, meaning a decrease in volume with an increase in price, or an increase in volume with a decrease in price indicates a weak buying or selling pressure. The volume indicators we'll be discussing in this masterclass is the money flow index as a good example. There's a multitude of ones you can go for, but this is the one they use here. An oscillator that uses both price and volume to measure buying and selling pressure. Typical price is high plus low plus close divided by 3. Money flow is typical price times volume. Positive money flow ratio is typical price greater than previous candle's typical price. Negative MFR is typical price lesser than the previous candle's typical price. Is it not less than or lesser? I don't even know. I think it's less than. MFR is 14 period positive MFR over 14 period negative MFR. MFI, which is the index, is 100 MFR divided by 1 plus MFR, which is all just a little bit of trivia that you might never need, but it's cool to know. In other words, MFI is volume weight RSI. Buy when MFI crossed up 20, so it got back into the zone. Sell when MFI crossed down 80, meaning this is actually not a sure bet. This is a one that you could kind of go for, but it's not a certain one in this specific case here. I don't know if I would have actually taken it that way, but it's one way to view it here. You can go for it. This will not work that often, in my opinion, but you may maybe it will work more than 50% of the time, or maybe if your other indicators are showing that this is a good thing to go for, it may work. Because if you're gonna just purely sell because it gets down below 80, you're gonna lose a lot of money. All right, you're most likely gonna be taking a lot of bad trades if you go for only this. But you can add this to your current analysis to probably make it better, and it does work. Right? It is very interesting, and I guess does work, and I'm pinching my fingers right now like bunny ears, is kind of a debatable one, as a lot of people are commenting always that this makes no sense. There's no guarantee that this works, and that's true. All right, it's just about making money more than you're losing it, right? Because this will obviously result in some losses along the way, but hopefully you can make more money with it by winning than losing. And in my opinion as well, it does work. So yeah, pretty cool analysis here, or a pretty cool educational session by him. I really, really love that, and I really love the effort. But a good idea of, I guess, just volume and how things may change things is if you check here, right? We're not going to go into these charts because they are overly complicated for most likely no good reason. And a lot of different colors here. I don't know why he wanted to have it that way. But if we go down here, one of the easiest comments to pinpoint here is, good to see you again, bud. This may look like a bullish pennant, but I'm not buying it. The consolidation phase is showing large spikes in volume only when we sell off, not when we're getting squeezed overnight. Volume is an important indicator in a bullish pennant, and we're not seeing much cash market participation on the upside. Rather, a seemingly perpetual overnight gap parade, and the music never stops. This pennant looks more like a magic trick than a legitimate technical pattern. A price discovery is now a thing of the past. Without real market participation, it's the central banks and market makers show, while the media feeds us expired baby food in the form of bedtime stories about hope. It's all liquidity slash dollar debasement, or over dollar debasement, I think, slash. And the Fed put, we now have the Fed chair on both the monetary and fiscal policy side. T or B, welcome to the welcome, welcome. And the thing right there is, a lot of the markets here, a lot of them you can't really pinpoint down with bullish pennants like that, especially if the volume is not on your side. And the difficult part about situations like that are always the same, and it is just, you can't always view it one way, but there will be 10 people viewing it completely differently, and your guess is as good as theirs on indicating whether or not things are really the way you think they are going to be. In terms of volume, though, I mean, XRP's volume is just breaking high after high after high on almost any time frame that you will check it out at, and yeah, things are just looking pretty damn crazy on the bullish side, and I don't really think we are going to correct right now in such a period. It just doesn't really look that logical. It's quite illogical if you're asking me. And the same thing can be said about XLM, but to a certain degree, we must also correct. And I'm keeping that in the back of my head. So even though I am quite confident, very confident even, to say that we're not at the end of the bigger move, there are places at which we need to correct, and I can't really say when that exactly is going to be. All right, it could be that the price is going to fall back down lower to our current support here and then go back up higher. Again, I'm looking for 89 cents at least in the very short term here, but it may also not be that way. It's just a matter of, I guess, trying. Well, what else can I say here, guys? What else can I say? We can either take the trade down lower, we can sell it and buy back here. We can try that, which, again, a couple of keen ones might have gone for when I hinted the message. On the contrary, you can also just wait and hope for a higher point here. It's a matter of preference, as most of whatever we predict will still have a chance of playing out. I can never guarantee any of this will work. Now, with that said, I was also checking out some videos about Spark here and just what you guys are thinking about the situation. I should actually be pressing the like button for a fellow XRP guy working Money Channel. So he was talking here, and by the way, if you're hearing like a fan or so, it's the MacBook, and I've already put this microphone as far away as I can from that thing, but sometimes it just does not work, and you will still hear it if you do. I'm so sorry about that, but I can't do anything about it. And what the Spark situation he's describing in here actually does not make any sense either, as Spark and whatever we're seeing here have nothing to do with each other. And again, this is no hate towards WMC, nothing meant like that. It's just a talk about, oh, he's actually talking about XRP's bullish pennant as well. Okay, that's actually pretty interesting. By the way, I don't watch these videos, if I'm sorry. Okay, I'm kind of feeling like a douchebag now for also showing the uptrend or the bullish pennant. Okay, they're doing the 4-hour. I didn't actually know that, so I'm kind of sorry that we're a little bit late to the party then. I mean, I shouldn't be sorry because I didn't notice. But I only got actually ahead of this other part here about Spark. I just kind of scrolled through it because I know where it was. This Spark part is rather interesting to me because this Spark makes no resemblance to the Spark we're talking about now. And also, Spark will most likely never touch $1 per coin. I would definitely not count on that. And also, if you're wondering about whether or not I'm claiming, yes, I am. But that is mostly because Binance has allowed it, and on Ledger, it is kind of simple. But I'm still waiting for about December 5th or so before I'm actually going to start working on that. I have not done anything on the Spark department as of thus far. And again, it's going to be a couple of days beforehand that I'm going to start looking at that. And another thing to note is that the snapshot will be the 12th, but you'll still have 6 months to claim it afterwards, which is also kind of important. And again, don't think prices are going up right now because of Spark, all right? Please don't think that way is true. People don't care that much for Spark. It is just a community thing right now. But the big guys, the institutions, they don't care about your Spark. So I don't think that's the right way to view it. Also, another thing, I keep sharing in these videos always the downside, but some people claim that either I have, oh, let me also press my own like button, I have FOMO'd in, or that I'm only trying to show the upside. And by the way, watch out for scams in the comment section. I keep seeing them coming back. But what you should understand here is that I'll always tell you guys exactly what I'm thinking. So here I'm putting in 59 cents as an example because I bought there, but right now we are at 68, so I think, first of all, we're fine. So it isn't a FOMO, it's still a rational choice. And also, it is built upon fundamentals in my own opinion, all right? And also, this was more so to suggest, actually, what you could do with my sheet that you get when you become a channel member, like this. A couple of guys have joined, by the way, and I'm going to give you guys some shout outs soon. I just don't know if you guys actually want that, though. I don't know if that's the thing I should be doing or not, because maybe people will then try to scam you further if I hand out your name. So I'm kind of debating on that one. Now, again, this stuff I'm not showing to brag that I'm buying cheap or saying that we're only going to be going up, trying to make you buy. 0% of me showing you has that idea in mind. Please, guys, none of my videos are meant to make you buy or sell your coins. I'm just trying to showcase to you guys what I'm thinking is going to happen. And we'll be wrong sometimes. We'll surely be wrong sometimes. But let's just hope we can make more money by being right, let's say 60% of the time, than the times we're being wrong. And from that perspective, since I have the longer term in my mind, and I'm really quite adamant we're going to see at least 89 cents for XRP in the really short future. Again, what we're going to see beyond that, I can't really tell too much because that's all a little bit too far away from my own personal taste. But this one I'm seeing quite clear. That's why I can easily say that any buy right now is still viable. So even if I, by accident, bought at, for example, 69 cents, and right now you're in a little bit of a loss, I don't think it's going to matter that much because again, ultimately, we're still going to be going there, which is still a nice, let's see here, 30 or so, I get the hiccups, 30% or so move, which is still going to be rather nice. And as I said before, if we go back into the newer zone, or the older zone, I should say, yeah, it's another crazy buy for me, and that means another 70 or so percent towards the top. But if you average it out, if you, for example, had bought here and you buy back lower, you're still going to get, on average, let's see here, about a 50% or so return. So ultimately, it just does not matter as long as your longer term is set. If you personally don't believe in the medium to longer term here, or even short term 90 cents, so higher prices, you shouldn't do what I'm doing. All right, it's only if you believe it's going to get there, because at the end, this is your own money, not mine, and only you can make the proper decisions for it. Yeah. I was also checking out some other things here by Trading Shot. Bitcoin cannot repeat gold's pullback after it breaks all-time high. So gold here went to the 1.138 fib, and Bitcoin, if we were to do that, is about 25,000. And it's interesting to see because a lot of people are comparing gold and Bitcoin to each other, and yeah, I mean it's kind of fun to see how the comparison is being made. Okay, so I think all of you that are watching here know that I am quite bullish on XRP, XLM, and a couple of other crypto. Well, today I want to talk about some of the higher prices that we can go to on XLM and on XRP. I want to also talk about some ideas I've been making for cashing out, and also the probability we have of getting to these prices and what I would most likely be doing, and all things surrounding that. Also, why I've been hoarding and holding like crazy, and more of my ideas. So make sure you watch this video all the way through, as we're also going to be talking some more daily crypto news. But first, make sure you press the like button, subscribe, and comment something down below, as that is all you need to do to enter into our 100 XRP giveaway. But also go and join the Discord, guys, link in the description. And just so you guys know, we're announcing one giveaway winner live in our 50k sub special, most likely coming up tomorrow. So yes, that was a whole minute of talky talk. Let's dive into some prices, because that's what all of you came for. And just starting it off quickly and obviously here, $13 per XRP. I think we're going to get there eventually. Why? Well, long version we've talked about at least 10 times on the channel before. Short version is, if you look historically at all the gains XRP has made and all the moves in whatever bull run you can find for XRP, the historical multiplier for XRP is so ridiculously high for any new run. And right now, with this quote-unquote new run, we are only, actually, let's see here, at about, how much can it be? 200% or so in terms of gains. And every time it has ran upwards, we're seeing thousands of percent in terms of gains. And with that idea in mind, let's say we were to take that gain again, this would be about 2,000%. Which is relatively the same thing. Of course, it is actually perfectly relatively the same thing. But again, everything that we've talked about before lines up with at least going towards the, $10 plus area. I'm more so thinking towards $13, but let's say $10 plus. But that will also depend a little bit on your bigger picture, all right? I mean, if you're a very short-term thinker, you maybe should be thinking more towards all-time high or even just 92 or so cents. I mean, I like to talk about short-term a lot. That's what I mostly do, because I think that's where most money is going to be made. And look at this one, right? Perfect hit at the Fibonacci level. You can actually see it best on the daily time frame here. It's a perfect hit from our previous run that we saw in July here. Perfect hit, fell back down, and it's not really going to be strange if we hit this level at about 56 cents or so before we go back up. However, right now, it is not that clear to see exactly what is happening to XRP, as the most obvious thing I could draw is just a kind of a small term downtrend, but there's not really like a clear bottom like this, as the price action is just not that obvious as of this point. I would not call it anything as of this point until something more clear erupts. Right now, I would just see it as sideways movement, which is exactly what a lot of guys have been expecting, as this doesn't look that, yeah, it doesn't look that strange either if we were to draw it like this. So let's just call, as of this point, like sideways trading and really waiting for a breakout and waiting for a move in either direction, which is most likely going to be coming up rather soon here though. But however, that's all small term talk, that's all short term talk. XLM and XRP, you want to know more about the bigger moves, right? Now, with XLM, the exact same thing can be done here. However, you have to look up a little bit of a different chart, because I think only Binance shows it properly. And if you do that, you can see, if we go up a little ways here, the same extension level that we saw with XRP for XLM is right here at about $4.20, which is my ultimate price target for XLM. Again, keep in mind that these are all speculational. That's one thing. Second of all, it may still take a longer time, but you gotta have these two numbers in the back of your head, because they're going to be more important when I talk about some ideas of cashing out later. So once more, XLM is about $4.20, which is kind of ironical, but okay. And XRP, let's go and take a look at it once more, is right around this area of about $13.50, or if you want to take it a little bit more funny, it's 1337. That's the fun thing. Perfectly here, it will be about 1344, 1350, something like that. Well, I've told you guys before, right? I made a tracking sheet here, which I'm sharing with all the channel members. But fun thing is, I want to quickly give 4 shoutouts. First of all, Nestor Uribe, I hope you pronounce it that way. Big shout out to you. L Marshall, big shout out to you. Sky XRP Houston, big shout out to you. And Paula Leach, big shout out to you as well. Why? Well, they are the first few channel members, so they've gotten themselves this sheet. That's one thing, but also they're supporting the channel. I want to quickly give a shout out to you for doing so. You didn't have to, but it's very much appreciated. And I recommend you guys to just make a spreadsheet like this yourselves if you haven't done it before. Just try it out. It is not that difficult. It's a cool little journey. Or just become a channel member. You can instantly get access to it. But what I'm talking about a little bit more often nowadays is talking about cashing out plans and talking about what you should be looking at. And again, this is not financial advice in the least, but this is just me to you, as individuals here talking rationally about the future. And I've also told you guys yesterday I bought some XRP, right? I actually keep putting up price purchases, or how you can say it. I keep putting up orders at about 59 cents and they keep getting filled. So right now we are at, let's quickly check out. Um, right now XRP is at, I don't know where to watch it perfectly like this. Right now XRP is at about 61 cents, so we're in 2 cents profit, not that much, but I think we picked it up maybe in this move or so, a couple of hours ago already. I just keep them open and they keep getting filled, which is really, really amazing because it was free profit, right? Free profit, maybe like 3% or so, but still pretty damn nice. And by the way, regarding that, I told you before on the channel that 49 cents, 59 cents, and 69 cents were very important levels, all the way up before our big move to about 92 or so, which can better be seen on the weekly, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. I also got my chart reset here, so I'm going to have to put all the zones back in that we've talked about before, but I'll be doing that overnight, so you don't worry about it. However, with 59 cents in mind, I'm assuming that most of you guys got an entry there or lower. And by the way, this whole sheet can be used for XRP or XLM or whatever. It does not really matter. But from that point on forward, it's going to be really important you put in some cashing out prices here so you have an understanding of where exactly you're going to end up in. I've told you before, I'm building so many different things for you guys, which are going to hopefully be beneficial to you when your portfolio is up or when you're, I guess cashing out some more crypto and when you're thinking about them. Right now, for me, is not that area just quite yet. But let's say, for example, you bought yourself 10,000 XRP at 59 cents. That means you got yourself 5,900 bucks worth, right? At that point at which you bought. But right now, you're thinking about cashing some out at the high. Now, let's go first for all-time high. So that's about 350. You want to cash out about half of that and another half at our first price target. Let's go for $13.50 and another half. You can see here exactly what your money would be at, about $85,000. And things like this you have to calculate. Why? Well, you can plan ahead. And that's something I really recommend people to do, is to plan these prices ahead at which you're going to cash out, and you know exactly where you're going to end up at, so you can kind of already set your goals, set your expectations, set your everything, so you don't have to kind of backtrack and start thinking about these things in the future. You can already know them right now, and you just have to wait for those prices to get hit. Right, but you know exactly what you're going to get, and you don't have to guess or anything along those lines. Now, it's going to be pretty damn cool or stupid to, I guess both, to not put in more. So let's actually put in 7.5. We're going to cash out another 1,000, for example. Let's say you bought 15,000. 7.5, we want to also cash them out at 10. We want to do another 1,000. And at about $20, we want to cash out, like maybe let's say the remaining 3,000. This is exactly where we're going to be at, 162,000. And that's to give you guys some idea of how this is all going to be moving. I should actually also build, note to self, build a total sale minus buy-in price. I think that's very simple to do, but I quickly have to do that as well and add it because I don't think we got that. But you can also see we got some cool average price and stuff like that. You need to know this type of stuff to make sure you're prepared for everything. And with that in the back of our heads, if we take a good look at XRP once more, these charts become so much easier to follow and to stick by. Why? Well, if you don't have to be worried about all these short-term fluctuations and these small little teeny weeny bits of movement, it all becomes such an easier task to hold on, right? And I guess I can also put these numbers in for XLM into this sheet, but it's basically the same idea, right? XRP and XLM look quite alike in that regard, and you could just test this out for yourself. If you were to do XLM, you could just put in, for example, 0.10, and you bought, for example, 20,000 XLM, and the rest still remains exactly the same, right? I just didn't put in the XLM currency here, but you could easily do that. I'll post a tutorial a little bit later on how to change all of this. You just have to add XLM here and add the coin market cap link to XLM, and everything will calculate itself from that point on forward. It's pretty damn simple to do. But I'll make another tutorial, or I'll just upgrade this list, so I'll put everything in there so you guys can do that even easier as well. But the point still remains the same. You got to think about this stuff, because then all these small little moves, they become a lot easier to handle. And you can think about the longer term and think about the real money, because the bigger challenge is going to be what you're going to do once you've made that money, like I've been expressing. Now, with that said, be careful with day trading. First of all, there could be taxes involved in your country. And second of all, PayPal, for example, has decided to already ban people for day trading, which I never could have expected, but yes, it is something that happened. One PayPal user has reportedly seen his account temporarily banned, most likely, but maybe permanently. I don't really know. One user who was taking advantage of PayPal's zero crypto fees to day trade over $10,000 has had his account balance placed on a 6-month hold. Again, we know that this is like a thing that PayPal does, where they ban you for a little bit, where you can get your money back, but you may never get your account back, or things like that. In this case here, I believe his money has just been placed in a 6-month hold, but he can never go on PayPal anymore. If you scroll through here, 460 balance placed in a 180-day hold. In a Reddit thread, the Redditor blah 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 revealed that PayPal has permanently banned his account for day trading crypto. Yeah, and it's just stupid. It's a strange system, but it's the way they're doing things right now. It's just a wait for everything to mature, though. But he traded about $10,000 in a week, and they didn't like that, apparently. So that's pretty strange if you're asking me. I didn't know they had a policy for that. But then again, it's all so new that you should just wait for things to unfold before rushing in. Another thing here, Peter Schiff believes wealthy investors and institutions won't buy Bitcoin when inflation finally kicks in. I think this is BS. I don't think this is the truth at all. I think they would. I think they definitely would. We've been talking about the bigger picture here in the world, in all the markets, and I think it's pretty clear, at least to me, it's pretty clear that a lot of big guys here with a lot of big capital, they're looking for some other ways to put their money safe, to keep it safe from inflation and just from, I guess, the government's QE and everything alongside that. Just they're trying to safeguard their money. And he's just saying they'll choose gold over Bitcoin. And I don't know about that, if we're honestly talking, right? I know for a fact they're going to choose ways to circumvent this whole charade of things that's going to happen soon with this election talk and whatnot. I don't want to say those things too loud here on YouTube. But will they really use gold? I don't think so though. But that's Peter Schiff. He's always trying to get attention by claiming gold is godlike and Bitcoin is shizzle. He just keeps on doing that because people give him attention for it, like we're seeing this article do right now. In the end, though, I don't even think, you know, he's really that passionate within the family. Peter Schiff's own son dismisses his dad's advice and accumulates Bitcoin. And yeah, that kind of says it all for me. I mean, who this why, right? Why is the only thing I can say. I don't think this is what's happening at all. Dormant Ripple whale linked to Genesis address moves 40 million XRP to Bitstamp. A whale address that has been dormant since 2013 has moved XRP, about 40 million of them, to Bitstamp. And it's actually linked to Genesis block, so that kind of wonders to me, or makes me wonder, who that money is from. I don't actually know. I don't think anybody knows exactly just quite yet. But I think that's pretty cool to see. We don't know if he will be selling or not. I think we'll hear about that in just a couple of days if he actually sold it all off, or maybe we will never hear about it. I don't know either. That's still to be determined. TBA, all right, to be announced. However, as of this point, I don't think any stuff like that matters. Some guys have been claiming now that Flare matters. I still think it won't. If you guys think it will, hey, you go all right on ahead, but I'm always sharing my honest opinion. And another thing here is, in my opinion, very important. Former Federal Reserve Chairman Janet Yellen could become the next U.S. Treasury Secretary, and You can see here a little bit more about why that is so, why that is the case. While Yellen hasn't said a lot about Bitcoin, she is clearly